Hey, what's up guys? It's Ray just bringing you another Modern Warfare 3 gameplay. Today I'm going to be playing some Domination here on Lockdown, and that's really all I'm going to say about this gameplay. I'm making this video because I just beat Mass Effect 3 yesterday, and I'm super excited. I've been completely absorbed in that game. If you haven't played the Mass Effect series, the games are just absorbing. The universe they create is just overwhelming, and it's fun to read, and it's just the way they build the narrative or tell the story is just really fun to play through. And yeah, and that's my recommendation. First off, if you haven't played Mass Effect 1 and Mass Effect 2 and you like RPGs at all, you should definitely play Mass Effect. It's one of the best series out there, and I'm sure most of y'all know that. It's one of the biggest out there for a reason. But specifically Mass Effect 3, I was honestly blown away by the game. I was a little worried going into it. I've read all the articles about people, talking about how horrible the ending was, and it ruined the series. People were pretty extreme about how bad they thought the ending of Mass Effect 3 was. And after I've played through it, I'm not a fan of the ending, but I don't see why it gathered so much hate. So if you're out there and you're, thinking about getting Mass Effect 3 and you haven't because you're like, well, I read all these bad things about it, and it's I read on Reddit all the time, and people bash EA all the time. Constantly they bash EA, and now they bash Mass Effect or BioWare because it's an EA game now as well, and it's undeserved. Now, it's like I said, it's one of the best series out there. It's probably my favorite RPG that's been made, and I have no idea how long. Probably back to like Final Fantasy VII, or Final Fantasy VIII. I actually liked 8 better because it was the first one I played, and I'm weird. But yeah, it's definitely an amazing series, and I thought it was a great conclusion to kind of the Shepard series. If you don't know, they do plan on making more Mass Effect games, but it's not going to be focused around Commander Shepard anymore, who is, if you haven't played, he's the main character through the first 3 games. But so this is kind of the end of this series in the Mass Effect universe. So I thought the game, I was mind blown. Like, the game was amazing. I played the entire time, and I was absorbed, and I wake up at 7 in the morning to go to work a lot of the times. Some days I wake up at 6 to go to work, and I was up till 2 or 3, which is not really like me because, that leaves me like 3 or 4 hours to sleep. But I was up, all night playing this game and, watching this story develop, and it's just mind-blowing how they did this game. And if you don't know, Mass Effect, the series is really amazing just because how many options you get. In each game, you make decisions that completely change the universe, and a lot of times it's not just small decisions. You can change the characters in your party. 3 is affected by all the people you killed or didn't kill in the first 2 games. You're basically, of all the characters in the game, which I think there's throughout 3 games, there's something like 17 or 18 playable characters, and besides Commander Shepard, the main character, there's only 2 that I don't think you can kill off through all the series. And that's pretty impressive. There's not many games in which, you get 15 party members and you can kill almost all of them. Even actually in 2, if you play bad enough, you can kill all of your party members and Shepard. And you'll still beat the game, but you can't import that game into Mass Effect 3. But that game companies don't do that kind of stuff. Like, well, you sucked at the game, so everyone died. Yeah, you beat the game, but you and all your friends are dead. So I don't know, that's something that I've always enjoyed about this. Mass Effect 3, like I said, a lot of people complained about the ending. If that's holding you back from buying the game, don't let it. It's not as bad as everyone's saying, I promise. It could be better. There's a lot of suggestions I'd have for them. And when they say the ending, it's not like, oh, the last hour's bad, oh, the last 30 minutes bad. People are literally talking about, like, the last 5 minutes of the game, if that. And up until that point, the whole story is engaging, and Honestly, I think I enjoyed it more because I've heard so much about the ending being bad. The whole time I'm like, well, how bad can they end this series? So I was thinking about every time they brought up a new plot twist or whatever, I would be like, oh, how could this turn this game into an awful ending? I was thinking, are they going to go with, oh, it's a dream or something like that? And it's, is this just some kid's imagination or anything like that? It's not anything like that. It's not just a completely retarded ending to the game. It's slightly confusing. They don't give enough details. I think the main reason people are honestly mad is you play with these characters the whole time, and at the end, it doesn't really tell you what happened to all the characters that are still alive. So I think that's the main reason people are mad, and I think that's what Mass Effect... BioWare's already made an announcement that they're going to do something to remedy this issue, either by doing... I hope they make the DLC free. I mean, they've already had enough people giving them crap for DLC and the way the game ended. I doubt they'll... charge too much for a DLC. That kind of explains the ending better. But they should do it free. I think it'd be a good PR move for them to not charge the normal $10 or $15 for the DLC to kind of explain the ending. But yeah, like I said, the only real problem with the ending is, and it's a pretty big problem. I get why people are mad. Is just that you spend all this time with all these characters through 3 different games, and you follow these characters, and the story is really, really, really well told. I cannot stress enough how well the story's told. A lot of games, like Final Fantasy 13, which I did not like. I hated Final Fantasy 13. I read a description of the game, and it was basically he just retold the story, but he actually knew how to write. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of an interesting story. And you play Final Fantasy 13, and it's just awful. The story was so poorly told. It was sad to play that game, especially since I liked the Final Fantasy series up until that point. Yeah, 13 was awful, but it kind of shows the difference between, you can have a good plot, but you have to tell, especially in video games, it's really hard to tell a story well in video games because, you want to be able to give the player a bunch of choices, but you can't create 6 different games based on, those players' choices. But Mass Effect did a really good job on that, of allowing the player to make these huge, galaxy-changing decisions, but still being able to make games after that one. Because a lot of games especially Mass Effect 1, the way Mass Effect 1 ended, a lot of games that, gave you so many options at the end of how you were going to deal with everything, wouldn't have had a follow-up. That would have been the end, because it would have been too hard to, it would have been too hard for them to continue that series. But, thanks for watching. If I had to give it a 1 to 10 rating, I would give it a 9. And the only reason I take off 1 point is, that last 5 minutes. But it was a great game. Go out there and play it. And please subscribe to my channel. Thank you. You have a good day.